you might think that people want wealth for comfort and opportunity, but they also want wealth for comparative status. And it's very much advantageous for the psychopathic wealthy to ensure that the fragmented masses are so chaotic that they don't get to have what the rich have, right? Because a lot of status is having something that someone else doesn't have. It's not the same as wealth, right?
Yeah.
And so
it's sort of a
the real
relative.
psychopath types, well, there is literature showing a relationship between the dark tetrad. And so imagine this, you can imagine a situation where here's the deal, you can have your salary doubled, but your friends have their salaries tripled, right? Or you can contrast that against relative deprivation conditions where your relative status is elevated at the cost of other people's well-being. Well, the psychopathic narcissist types will pick the elevation of relative status at the cost of other people.
And I think that's why they spend so much time looking upward, right? Like I think that it's very interesting that eat the rich is a more popular slogan than feed the poor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it is about that
for
relative. And the people who say eat the rich tend to be people who, maybe they're not in the 1%, but they're in the top 10%.
Yeah.
The people who are the most
definitely.
strident about oppressor-oppressed dichotomies and so on. They're not the people at the bottom. They are people who are just below the top.
Yeah. Well, and it's eat the rich is a lie. It's eat the competent. That's really what they mean. Yeah. And that's the real rallying cry of the real narcissistic psychopath. It's like devour the competent. And when if I say to someone who's competent, you just got everything you have by stealing it, that means it's perfectly, not only is legitimate for me to steal it, if I'm oppressed, it's actually morally obligatory for me to steal it, right? That's a very dangerous situation. That's exactly what was set up in the early Soviet Union, exactly that. And the psychopaths came out of the woodwork, man, and they just turned that whole society into hell.
Yeah.
Right?
Same thing in Maoist China, in the Cambodian genocide.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, this kind of veer off topic, but the Cambodian genocide is fascinating because they basically speed ran communism and compressed all the horrors of the Soviet Union into about 3 years, and they killed a third of the country's population. Horrifying. I mean, yeah, it's absurd that we don't have more education around what happened in communist societies, but that's an aside.
It is quite the stunning miracle of stupidity.